Hello again from my front porch. I am here with the lovely lady Lisa Green Westerman.
Hello.
I'm here. I look all happy, but this has been actually a fairly miserable week for me, physically speaking. I have accepted the fact that I am now definitely getting old. Although I hear that what I've been battling with may not necessarily just be an old person thing, that it happens to younger people too. And that is sciatica. Oh, talk about a pain in the butt. It is. It really. I mean, yeah. Now, if you're not familiar with, because myself, this is my first time experiencing this joyous thing, and but I'd heard about it. It's joked about on TV shows all the time, and oh my sciatica, and all this kind of stuff. But I never really knew what it was. It didn't really resonate because until it happens to you, you don't care. And so I didn't know anything much about it either. But if you're not familiar with it, it is this pain that starts right above, as Forrest Gump would say, right above your buttocks, in your lower back there, but to one side of your spine. So in my case, it was the left side, right in the middle of the left side there. But it goes from there and then right down your leg, the upper leg, through the knee, lower leg, your calf area, and all the way down to the ankle, where it just kind of like is these talons that grab onto your ankle. And the only way I can really describe this ongoing pain to somebody who hasn't experienced it is, you think about when we were young, when we were kids, and we had growing pains in our legs. And you whimper and complain and say, "Mom, come in." Mom comes in and rubs your legs and makes it feel better for a little while, but it doesn't make it go away. That's kind of what this was like, except much worse, because it's just like these tendons, these muscles, these nerves. It's just like everything's like and hurting. It was pretty bad. Fortunately, I've had Dr. Lisa nursing me through my convalescence.
Yeah, that's my side job, doctor.
Now. For better or for worse, which is, I'm not leading up to anything, but for better or for worse, Lisa, because of your own personal physical experiences through life, you've developed quite a wealth of understanding and knowledge of medical stuff.
As well as I've gone through sciatica, so I clearly know what's going on.
Yeah. And
it's very painful.
Which it's good that one of us clearly knew what was going on, because one of us had no clue but was just in a lot of pain. And now, the reality is this really came on this last weekend. I'd say Saturday night into Sunday, I suppose, because Saturday we were at a Filipino group's picnic, and it wasn't really an issue then. I mean, I wasn't having, but man, going into Sunday, it was like, oh. And I wasn't able to sleep through the nights. Everything was uncomfortable. I was limping and walking all the time. My left leg, I just couldn't use it. My knee felt inflamed. My ankle hurt. The upper leg, all the way up to my hip area. I mean, for a while, I was concerned. At first, I was concerned that something was wrong with my hip, and again, the old person thing. Oh, my hip! I'm gonna have my hip repaired. Now, I shouldn't again say old person, because like my brother-in-law Dave, I think he's got both hips replaced now, and he's younger than me. So.
Well, and I had sciatica when I was in my early 20s, so.
Yeah. So see,
really not an old person thing.
It's not an old person thing. It just makes me feel old. But almost everything these days does that. but still, it apparently had been coming on actually for at least a couple of weeks, and I was oblivious to that. It was like a slow growing thing before it suddenly impacted, because I had a lot of work travel that I was doing. I was in Florida first. Well, we went down with to visit your mom and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I was in Florida one week, and then the next week I was in Denver, and the next week I was in Texas. And so I had a lot of flying on the plane stuff, and I noticed when I was on the planes especially, I'd be sitting there playing, and my leg would be aching, just the left leg, and I would be massaging. Now, I normally didn't have to do that, and I just thought it was weird, but it was just an annoyance, an inconvenience. And I trace it back to, I think, what initiated the whole thing, now that I can trace it back like that, is I was carrying, well, you all remember the episode that I talked about the Canadian wildfires, and I did it from my burn pile. Well, I carried all that brush down to my burn pile to burn, and one of the armloads of brush, I was walking down my backyard, and I stepped in a hole in my backyard that I didn't know was there, and with my left foot, and I went down. I went down hard. I don't think I still have the video of that because I was actually filming myself carrying the brush pile down because it's part of edit in for the video. And you actually see me come off my back patio down the hill and all of a sudden go, it's kind of comical watching it from that vantage point, but now that I know it may have caused all this, not so funny. I thought I walked away unscathed. Apparently I did not. So anyway, back to the sciatica. So it caused all this pain. It got really painful through the week. It's kind of subsided a bit on its own over this week here, but I have learned so much about this, and I want to pass on a little bit about that. Now, first thing that I learned, because I was taking a leave, and I'm still taking some leave, but I was taking leave, and I actually here's just the regular leave, and I was taking a lot of these, like 3, maybe even 4 at a time, and she says, you got to watch that hurts your liver, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've tried to reduce what I'm taking those, but then I also had these Aleve that say therefore back and muscle pain. See, I bought those. See, now these are oblong, and these are round, and one says it's that it's for the back and muscle pain. The other one just says regular. So I had both on hand. Dr. Lisa, one of her first words of advice to me was,
check the label.
Yeah, because
they both say the same thing.
They literally both have the same ingredients, the same thing. The really only difference is the shape of the pill.
And this was more expensive.
Yeah, well, and there's fewer, but this one says it's for back and muscle pain. Well, apparently so is this one. So I bought 2 for no particular reason, apparently. But so that was education tip number 1. Education tip number 2 was that there is stuff available that can actually help with this. And one of the first things that sorry, I bumped your knee and I'm going to hurt you.
That's okay.
But Dr. Lisa brought this over. This is
CBD cream.
Mm-hmm. Now you hear CBD and you're like, oh, that's pot. Oh. No, it's not really. In fact, it says right here, hemp oil formula, deep penetrating, fast absorption. Okay, so it does have some hemp basis, but it also says no THC. Yeah. And so that means,
well, it doesn't have the THC. It's got trace amounts in it, mm-hmm. So it's basically just the hemp part of it. Mm-hmm. But
so it does have the THC. It's not
it's just very, very trace. When it says no, there's like a medical
a level
that they don't have to report. Yeah. But then there's also, which I didn't tell you, there's this says 2,000 on it. Yeah. There are different levels you can get, and that's a pretty strong one because I think there's 500 and 1,000, but the 2,000 one is going to give you more relief. Yep. It's a lot better.
Well, so that's, and I'm not pushing this brand. There's probably other brands.
There are,
but it's this topical cream, and I'll tell you, this stuff actually really does work. Because you take it and it's like there's an ointment that athletes use that they put as the icy hot or is it
kind of like
something like, but you take it and you don't just smear it on, you rub it in, and you let it and that actually did help. That gave me some relief. I was taking that and my Aleve more conservatively. And with that, and that would help. Now I still had trouble sleeping through the night anyway, but this would help alleviate, because the muscles, especially in my upper thigh, around by my hip area, the middle of my calf, and then as I said, the ankle was always on fire, and then my knee, the whole knee area felt like it was inflamed, and so I would smear this stuff in various places on there, rub it in, and after a while it would work and it would help, but it doesn't last forever, of course. It just works. But then Dr. Lisa introduces me to this little gizmo, which apparently a lot of other people are fully aware of and they swear by, but I had no idea. And this is called a what?
TENS unit.
A TENS unit, because it's got these little electrode pads, and that's actually what they are. And we bought these at Walgreens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and you can buy these. You can buy this online as well. You can
just like at Amazon or something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this one is by an MP company or whatever, but there's various models. But what this is, it literally is you stick these little pads on areas of your body, and then you turn it on, and you can use these little buttons to ramp up the amount, and it gives you a little electric shock.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It just feels
well,
like
it does if you really crank it up, I'm sure. But
well, you probably
because she was using it initially to test it to make sure it was working, and you had it up to a 4?
I only like a 5 on my back, which means I probably wasn't in really that much pain. But yeah, then you put yours on, and we're up to what?
Yeah. Well, when I first put it on in spots that were really hurting, I couldn't even feel that anything was happening at 4 or 5, and so I was cranking it up until I could really feel something. And that first day using it, I had it cranked up to like 20, 25.
Yeah.
Just to I'm not joking. There's like I don't know if it's a nerve or a tendon or a what, but runs down the outside of your leg, across the upper leg and down the lower leg. And there was one night I woke up in the middle of the night and it was really hurting, and I went out to my living room and I'm sitting upright in a chair, because I did read online that if you're sitting with your shoulders back and upright, that helps kind of align stuff better. So I was doing that, but I could feel on the leg, this nerve or this tendon, whatever it is, that it was so tight and so swollen, it felt like a small PVC pipe. It was just that hard. It was just, and so I put these suckers, 2 of them at the top, 2 of them down below, right on that thing, and cranked that up. But now I went to see my haircut person. Nice haircut. I went to see my haircut person just today and was telling her about, because ironically, the guy who was seeing her before me, when he walked out, he was limping. Same left leg. And I said, what was up with him? And she said, well, he had been riding a 2-wheeler, like a deluxe moped kind of thing, not a whole motorcycle, but a high-end moped thing, and had a car just pull out in front of him. And that he had, it's getting kind of warm out here, that he'd had a accident with that, and he got some major road rash on his leg and stuff. He's got ace bandages. He has to put on parts of it. And so he's limping on that, and so then here I am coming in, and I've got my own issues with these things. But we were talking about this, and she said she swears by this thing, that she's had issues, not sciatica, but just other, like, because what she does all day, that she has times where her back really starts to hurt and stuff, and she'll take this and she'll put it right on her back, in the lower back area, and then just sit there watching TV or something, and let that do its thing for a while, and then she feels much better. It's like, oh, cool. So I may have to get my own one of these, just to have on hand, especially now. What's the saying? Is the warranty is now, or the warranty's now expired, so everything starts breaking. Is that what it? And you're with me. Lucky you.
You're broken. I'm broken. It's okay.
But this also really was helpful. Now I do think there was at least one time I may have overdone it, because the next day, after I'd long since removed it and slept, instead the next morning, I was still feeling the tingling, like it was shooting into some spots on my leg. So I'm thinking maybe that one I cranked up a little too high. But finally, being the wonderful red-blooded American man that I am, after dealing with this for an entire week, on Friday, I finally went to the doctor.
Because your girlfriend said maybe it's a good idea that you go see a doctor.
Yeah, because Dr. Lisa said you need to go see a doctor.
I mean, you were feeling better, but obviously this was not going to be the final solution. So it got you through the week.
Yeah, and even though I was feeling better in the sense that it wasn't hurting like it was, still there were spots, especially around my knee, where it just felt like it was just inflamed. It was just really sore, and that just wasn't going away. And that was an area where the little Thames thing didn't work.
Yeah.
There was nowhere I could put the little things I could even feel it in my knee, because it has to be muscle, right? Mostly.
I mean, I think so. There is a knee setting on there, but it still kind of puts it around the knee, because you gotta have it's the muscle tenses. Yeah. It goes into the muscles,
So.
Yeah.
This one, I guess I didn't show that. You may have saw it when I held it up, but it has these, and I'm sure all these devices are like that, but it has these other settings along the bottom where you can choose body area, and apparently that alters the type of pattern or the intensity, or I don't know, whatever. It knows that if you selected that part of the body, you're to do certain things. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor there prescribed me some drugs. Yay. Because actually my bestie Tara, when I told her that because she had messaged me while I was waiting at the doctor's office, And she said, so why are you at the urgent care? What's going on? And so I said, and she goes, well, hopefully they don't just prescribe you need to stretch it. It's like, well, I hope not, because that would really stink, because it hurts. So no, they prescribed me a couple of drugs. And what they prescribed me was to sleep at night. I don't know, can you pronounce those? She's better at these things than I am.
I think it's tizanidine. It's muscle relaxer.
Yeah, and so that I'm supposed to take at night before I go to bed, because that's supposed to, and it did. Last night I did sleep most of the night. I woke up about 5 a.m. and had some discomfort. But then I got up and I slathered some of the CBD cream, and I was able to get another couple hours of sleep. So yay! All right. And then they also prescribed me this prednisone.
It's prednisone.
Prednisone.
Yeah.
And now this is to reduce the inflammation. Now, what they prescribed is a very short-term aggressive regimen of it. It says take 3 tablets by mouth once daily for 3 days, then 2 tablets daily for 3 days, then 1 tablet daily for 3 days. But you have prednisone that gets prescribed to you because of your Crohn's and things like that, but you don't take that much.
Yeah, the max they ever prescribed me is 40, and then you taper it down. But and I gave him another bit of advice on this, that he was going to take it last night, and I told him don't do that, because if you take 60 milligrams at night, you are never going to sleep. You need to take that in the morning. So this is the first day of prednisone. Yeah, so
I took it this morning before I went to get my haircut, and she said, be prepared. It's going to give you a lot of energy. You might, with 60, you might even have trouble still getting to sleep tonight. You're going to be hungry. You're going to want to eat lots of food, and you're going to get cranky. And you compared that to what?
PMS.
Yeah. She said, so now you know what women feel like when they have their period.
Prednisone is nice because it does help, but it does come with some fun side effects.
Yeah, well, and I will say this, that it has reduced the inflammation in my knee. I can tell that already. Now my muscles themselves are still a little firm, a little tight, but I've been battling with this for a week. I don't expect that just to go away like that. But now between the combination of the muscle relaxant at night, the prednisone during the day, and then now I can also still use the TENS and the CBD cream, some of the Aleve, and through all that, I think I'm gonna weather the storm, which is good, because when I first looked up sciatica online, it said generally it doesn't last longer than 6 weeks. I was like, what?
And you thought that was short.
I thought that was well.
You thought that was long, but actually it can be that can be a short-term thing, because it can last a lot longer.
Well, and as I've been sharing with other people, not that I'm like going around saying, hey, I have sciatica, but it's come up in conversation with others. I'm finding out there are a whole lot of other people who've had experience with this, and their stories are scary. There was one guy that he was telling me how he had it, and he had to get an epidural, and it lasted for 6 months. And then it wore off, and all the pain came back. And he had to get another epidural, but that one only lasted for 3 months. And then the pain came back. And then he got another one that only lasted for 1 month. And now they're planning back surgery for him. And then another person I talked to, they just jumped right to that. They said, oh yeah, I had to get back surgery for that. I was like,
So we're hoping this
Shut
is
up,
short.
I don't want to hear
This is short-lived. We're hoping we got it caught early so that it doesn't turn into something massive.
Yes. Well, and that is something that Dr. Lisa actually said a little earlier before I dropped the bomb on her that I was going to do this and coax her into being part of it. She said that she thought that one of the things that's helpful for me is that we caught it and addressed it fairly early on, started treating it, and then get the drug stuff. And I'm hoping that's the case. So the reason I'm doing this episode is to educate you. If you have these kind of pains, number one, don't write it off. Go see your physician right away. Get on these other medications to try to deal with that stuff there. If you need some other assistance of at home, don't just depend on painkillers like Aleve or ibuprofen or whatever. Get some of this CBD cream stuff. Get your hands on a TENS unit thing. These things really are very helpful to be able to get through that. But bottom line, don't just write it off as well. Like I was. oh, I'm just getting old, and this is just, oh, it's just part, And even when I discovered it was sciatica, I still was like, well, I'm just gonna weather the storm because it's, because I'm just getting old. It's the sciatica, but it can be treated.
Male.
Yeah, male and stupid. Yeah.
I didn't say that. I said male. Don't like to go to the doctor.
It's implied.
Well, and the nice thing is too, if you don't like to take a lot of medications, at least you could start with, like the CBD cream and the TENS unit and see how it goes. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of medications, so there are some kind of home remedies that work well to start. Yeah.
So I encourage you that if you got a pain in the butt, it may not be this one. It could be any number of things, but if it is this one, there are things you can do to address it. Now, it still might wind up being one of those extreme cases. I hope not for myself or for you. But when you start feeling these things, and I had a chiropractor when I was a kid in Carroll who was very old school, very holistic. And I remember going into him one time. I was having these head pains and some neck pains. It turned out that when I was a little kid, I'd fallen off our front porch and hit my head on the sidewalk, and they had to do some stitches and stuff. But at that point in time, it kind of shifted my skull a bit because it was still in soft development kind of phase, and there was never any other treatment. And so he wound up having to readjust some of that's where some of that pain was coming from. But when I first went in and I said, I'm having this pain, he said, how long have you been having this? And I was like, I don't know, I probably said something like a month or so. And he just laid into me. And the reason he laid into me, he says, why do people, when you're feeling pain, that is your body telling you something's wrong. Don't ignore pain. Pain is not normal. And he's right. And yet, we do it all the time. In this case, with the sciatica stuff, if you start feeling those kind of, like I said, shooting pain, it feels like someone just kind of, just not even stabbing, just kind of, again, that growing pain stuff is just this inside knot kind of thing inside you that starts in the middle of your lower back on one side. It could be one side or the other. I've not seen any instances where anyone says it goes both ways. It's usually just one side or the other, but I suppose it could go both ways. But if you have that happen there and it's shooting down your leg and it's unbearable, it's probably what it is. Go see your doctor, get some of the CBD cream, borrow a TENS unit, buy one, whatever. And you can weather the storm. We can do this. And maybe you'll be lucky enough to have a doctor like Dr. Lisa.
I don't get paid a lot more for this extra stuff, but
Yeah, she wishes she got paid hazard pay for this stuff right here, right now.
Because I am a practicing doctor. Yeah. I should get the money for it, but that's okay. It's my side job, my side hustle.
All right. Well, I don't know about Lisa, but I'm dying, sweating out here. Yeah, because I always close the door because it looks weird having a big gaping dark hole there behind me. But it's becoming a warm day out here, and this becomes quite the little sun deck. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Take my advice. Don't blow off any pains that you have, but if it's this kind of pain, there's all these options you can use. Go to your doctor. Don't. Guys, don't be manly and tough. Just get it taken care of. Because if you get it taken care of, not only can that pain go away, but you can prevent yourself having other problems as well that may extend further from that. So don't chance it, don't risk it, just get it done. Okay? All right. With that, I will let you go. I'll let you go too, from having to be on camera. And I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.